Chris, what are the ethics that should be upheld as a forensic accountant?
So as a forensic accountant, the ethics are really no different to being for any other chartered or certified accountant. So independence, objectivity, and demonstrating obviously integrity. The one point I would make in terms of being a party appointed expert witness accountant is that the primary duty is to the court. So we are appointed, although by one particular party, we are appointed to assist the court and to assist the judge in helping determine a dispute.
Would you say it's challenging to remain a neutral party?
It is challenging because obviously being appointed by one particular party, they may well want us as a forensic accountant to take a particular position. And it's very important as a forensic accountant to ensure that you are independent and objective, and that the view that you take is fully supportable by evidence and the facts that are presented to you.
Can you talk a little bit about your time in the public sector as a forensic accountant?
It was an absolutely fantastic experience. I really enjoyed it. Typically the work in a public sector for an organisation like the Serious Fraud Office, often very high profile work, very interesting, newsworthy type cases that one gets to work on. I think if you're working in the public sector, it tends to be more focused on kind of fraud, bribery, corruption type investigations, whereas if you're a private sector forensic accountant such as myself, you tend to work on a variety of those cases. So it's publicly related work, so it could be assisting the Serious Fraud Office or the financial regulator. It might well be working for a solicitor who's representing someone who's been prosecuted by either of those agencies. So you kind of get to see both sides. Public sector work, however, is very interesting. Often has some distinct public interest in the cases that are being undertaken, and you often get to work with some fantastic people, some fantastic lawyers, and other professionals within those organisations.
And what are those sort of key differences which jump out between working in the public and private sector?
In terms of the public sector, I think typically, as I mentioned earlier, that the work is very newsworthy. Often there's a certain amount of public scrutiny that comes with working in a public institution such as the Serious Fraud Office, whereas in the private sector, some of the work obviously is in the public domain. However, a lot of it is not made public at all, and typically, especially if it's an international arbitration, obviously that's undertaken in a private forum, or work that is just for whatever reason isn't in the public domain. So I think, for people working in the public sector, there is that sort of overriding public interest by the general public, also other organisations.
And did you find you had perhaps a little bit more power in the public sector to go after people a bit more?
I think the point as being a forensic accountant is generally you don't have any power to compel people to speak to us or to compel people to give us documents. Working for an organisation such as the Serious Fraud Office, obviously they rely on their Section 2 powers, so it's Section 2 under the Criminal Justice Act 1987, and obviously those powers have to be used in a reasonable and proportionate manner. However, forensic accountants working at those organisations do have the advantage of being able to rely on those powers to compel people to come in and talk to them as witnesses, for those people to produce information which is obviously helpful in an investigation.
Do you ever find there are any conflicts of interest that you have to overcome?
In terms of conflicts of interest, I mean, it's I think something that's obviously very prevalent in the industry at the moment. It's had a lot of press generally in terms of ensuring that that companies are working and people are working in a sort of independent manner. It's something that's, I think, is very high up on the agenda, and certainly we as a firm and us as individuals have to be very cautious in terms of how we make sure that we don't have any conflicts of interest, whether that is actual conflicts or whether it's perceived conflicts. So yeah, it's something that we pay very close attention to in terms of taking on appointments.